Hey guys, in this video I want to talk a little bit about how I translated this concept into 3D. First of all, thanks a lot to Christopher Onsiu, I hope I pronounced that right, for giving me the permission to use this really cool concept for this video. I put a link down in the description to his gallery and you should definitely check it out. He has some really nice work there. So let's get started. As usual, I start with a default dynamic sphere that you can find in the lightbooks. And what I like to do when I'm working on a full body sculpt is to block out the body with primitives. For that I use the insert sphere brush as well as the curved tubes brush, and depending on the shapes I use the other insert brushes as well. This way I can move the different parts around easily without destroying the other shapes. And it helps me to concentrate on the silhouette of the concept. That's really important to get the big shapes right from the start, so you don't have to make huge changes later on that may destroy some of the work that you already did. For the sculpt, I just had Christopher's concept on my second screen, and all the things that I could not see in the concept, like the view from the back or the details on his feet, for example, I sculpted from memory. That's why it's really important to learn anatomy. Even though I studied mostly human anatomy, it's extremely helpful when it comes to creatures as well. Like in this case, you can see that the creature's anatomy is almost like a human one, but with changed proportions. So now after half an hour, I started to work more on the anatomy. And for that I tackled each part on his own and sculpted all the major forms. And at this stage it comes in handy as well that the model is divided into different polygroups, because it helps me a lot to not get intimidated by the concept. Now I can work only on the arm or just on the belly or just the head instead of tackling the whole body at once. And at this stage my goal is to get all the muscles in the right place without worrying about details. And I'm always checking the silhouette and I'm making adjustments when needed. Here I'm mostly using the clay tubes brush as well as the move brush and the move topology brush. That's really helpful. And here I attached a sphere in a different subtool for the eyes. So now that all the major muscles are in place and the proportions are more or less correct, I try to blend the different parts together and to refine the anatomy. For that I merged the torso into one polygroup and cranked up the resolution of the Dynamesh and Dynameshed the whole model. And I'm also adding the missing parts of the concept, like his pants, or later the teeth, his tongue, and a placeholder for the hair as well. And I add these objects as separate subtools as well to keep things a bit more organized. And by adding these missing parts I get a better feel for the character, and it helps me to get a fresh view on the model so that I can see my mistakes a bit better. And here I'm constantly refining the anatomy and getting more into details, and I constantly compare it with the concept of Christopher, and I'm trying to get the attitude of the character into my sculpt as well. I try not to get lost in details, especially in the face. I like to keep things clean. Here I'm adding the teeth, and just by adding the teeth, I get a completely new feeling of the mouth, which was especially difficult in this case. And don't be afraid to make big changes here as well. If you have to, your model will benefit if you're brave enough to make big changes in the later stages. The whole process took me around 2 hours, and to this point. And my plan is to further refine the sculpt, then add fine details like wrinkles and pores. After that, I want to retopologize it by hand, so it's ready for animation later. And I want to unwrap it and texture it and make a simple rig, and then do a walk cycle with them. And if you want to see how I do a certain step of this process, let me know. And my plan for the next tutorials are to break down how I maintain proportions on a human head. Someone suggested it in the comments. And then I would like to do a tutorial about retopologizing this head and how to maintain a good edge flow in the face. So let me know what you guys would like to see next, and I hope you found this video helpful. And thanks again to Christopher for his really cool concept. Thanks a lot for watching, and I see you next time. Bye.